What do we generally consider to be traditional media? As you may have guessed, we are talking about print media, television, radio, online news sites, as well as their presence on social media. But they are not all the same. When we think about traditional media, it's important to consider some key differences in the way they are owned and funded. There are private, public, and state media. What's the difference between them? That's what we're going to find out today.
The majority of the media in the Baltic countries are private or commercial. Private media refers to media that are owned by businesses run by individuals or groups. They are most commonly motivated by profit and get funding from advertising, their audiences, donations, or grants. But sometimes the owners are also motivated by other interests, like building a reputation for a particular politician or party. Transparency of ownership is important. Sometimes powerful people buy media outlets to stop the public from understanding how they do business or win elections. However, you should be aware that they also might have indirect ways to exert influence, like through funding. This is called media capture. For example, journalists from Estonian newspaper Postimees and Latvia-based investigative journalism center Re Baltica showed how a media outlet Balt News was secretly funded by Kremlin-related structures. Journalists found that although they presented themselves as an independent outlet, editorial lines were dictated directly by Moscow. Other times, powerful people can try to impact content by threatening to withdraw advertising in case of unflattering coverage. Media outlets are expensive to run, and even more so if they publish quality content and time-consuming journalistic investigations. It can be difficult for struggling outlets to withstand the pressure. The media market in the Baltic countries is not large as it is. The number of newspapers has declined significantly within the last 10 years. The same is happening with TV channels. This is why it is very important for audiences to support quality media by paying for subscriptions. Although you pay to access content just like you would on Netflix, it comes with a bonus. You become one of the people who strengthen democracy by trying to ensure that media outlets have the means to keep powerful people in check. Of course, not all private media mix editorial with business and other goals. Most owners leave all editorial decisions up to the journalists and editors. Private media outlets are also very important for media pluralism, to avoid dominance of one position and to have a diversity of views.
A lot of media outlets are owned by large media groups. For example, one of the most popular online news outlets in all three Baltic countries is Delfi, owned by an Estonian media group called Ekspress Group. They also own several Estonian newspapers and magazines. Latvian online news sites Devenet and Apollo, entertainment site Spoki, Estonian newspaper Postimees, news agency Leta, as well as other outlets are all owned by another Estonian group, Postimees Group. They also are the decisive shareholders of 15min.lt and BNS. It is also important to know if one media group starts to dominate the market too much for the sake of diversity of perspectives.
Another type of media is state or government-owned media, established by the state. This type of media is financed from public budgets. For example, Latvia's Vesnesis is the official publisher of Latvia. It doesn't mimic the functions and style of news media. It has another function. It publishes official state information, like announcements about changes in laws decided by parliament and approved by the president. There are outlets like this in the other Baltic states too, Valstybės žinios in Lithuania and Riigi Teataja in Estonia. In some countries, like Estonia, there are media outlets that are owned by municipalities, although they might look a lot like private media. In these cases, readers should be very careful about whether the content might be biased. In Latvia, municipalities are formally not allowed to found media and publish their announcements in a way that looks like a news media. The municipalities can inform about events in information bulletins and distribute them for free, but they are not supposed to mimic private local media and call them newspapers. However, in practice, some municipalities still publish bulletins that look a lot like private regional newspapers and could mislead some people. This can lead to outcompeting and closure of private regional outlets that could otherwise provide a more critical outlook on affairs in their municipalities.
State-owned media also sometimes mimic independent outlets while actually serving as an instrument for promoting state policy. An example of this is Russia, where the main national networks are either run directly by the state or owned by companies with close links to the Kremlin. The government controls several channels, like Россия 1, Россия 24, Россия Kultura, the children's channel Carousel, and others. The international channel is known as RTR Planeta. The second most popular channel, Первый канал, is owned by a set of companies controlled by or associated with the state. Another popular channel, NTV, is owned by the state-controlled energy company Gazprom. The Russian government has an international reach with cable news channel RT, formerly known as Russia Today. Its rebranding, according to many researchers, was done in the hope that audiences would overlook its Russian origin and connection to the state. It was conceived by the Russian government as a soft power tool to improve Russia's image abroad and spread Russian narratives around the world, with broadcasts in English, Arabic, and Spanish. These outlets have often been accused of spreading untrue or inflammatory content.
In conclusion, there are different reasons for companies to have their own media and governments to invest in state-owned and controlled outlets. Knowing who owns or funds what you watch, read, and listen to will help you better understand what you are consuming and help you detect underlying narratives or agendas. Click on the next video where we are going to talk about public broadcasting. Stay tuned.